Hi, this is Stephen Watson. I'm often asked, what did I reveal about UFOs that made me a target? I claim electronic harassment starting in the early 2000s, posting to UFO forums and conducting my own UFO research, open source research, looking at UFO data. Well, unfortunately, my electronic harassment, it was just an aspect of surveillance abuse that everybody now is aware of.
Electronic harassment means stealth technologies used to harass someone.
It was just an aspect of surveillance abuse that everybody now is aware of, revealed by Edward Snowden.
PRISM, Total Information Awareness.
And our government having an agenda, UFO threat agenda.
Both the media and the government played dumb after news of the Havana Syndrome, but no, the culprit behind the attacks are directed energy weapons, sound weapons, and microwave RF, pulsed microwave. The Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program was only revealed to the public after it was canceled. Why would the Pentagon be alarmed over UFOs? Does some foreign adversary like China really have a technology leap over a country like the USA that outspends the entire world on defense and has black programs? Mick West, video analyst, claims that the Tic Tac UFO video footage that was leaked to the public and other Pentagon leaked footage is not what it seems. Radar reflections and video anomalies. Why would the Pentagon be deceptive to the public? Would China risk having an advanced craft more advanced than the USA, or Russia, or another country, would they risk having one of their craft shot down and analyzed? Or would it be like the Chinese spy balloon that was shot down using more conventional propulsion? Unfortunately, we live in an era where there is a lot of money going towards federal agencies and the Pentagon, and they rely on threats or playing up threats to continue the funding. That is to say, UAP, UFO, gaslighting, and more money spent on government bureaucracy looking into the UFO subject matter, while providing no real answers, only that there is a threat, and the government needs more of our tax dollars. Dr. Carol Rosen, who was with Wernher von Braun during the last years of his life, claims that Wernher von Braun told her that there is a plan by a round table of people connected to the defense industry and Pentagon that wants to create a false flag alien threat after exhausting all its enemies here on Earth. First, there would be the threat of near-Earth objects or asteroids, and then the alien card would be played. The purpose of this false flag alien threat, that some people in conspiracy circles call Project Bluebeam, is to weaponize space, as today we have the Space Force, and to make military spending still viable way into the distant future.
And I guess it interfered with that and made me a target. But what I actually discovered about UFOs is not that flattering, that UFOs are a reflection of our own science fiction. It's kind of like modern folklore, fairy tales, and legend.
The UFO phenomenon closely coincides with the evolution of science fiction and our own technology.
And a majority of UFOs, if not all UFOs, are actually IFOs, or EAPs, explainable aerial phenomenon. So a lot of people who see stuff in the sky they can mistake what they see, balloons, Chinese lanterns, satellites, if it's at night, and you could even have experimental aircraft or people doing hoaxes, putting Christmas lights on a balloon or a drone, a formation of drones. So a lot of UFOs are actually IFOs. And UFO reports, there are a few really good reports where the witnesses went on record, you know who they are, you know who their names are. But then a vast majority of reports are just John Doe and Jane Doe reports. You don't really know who the person is. The bottom line is the UFO report aspect of the phenomenon just lacked critical thinking, scientific rigor. So that may disappoint people, but that's what I learned about UFOs. Well, what about self-published books about propulsion and stuff?
Some UFOs are man-made. Stephen Watson's father, Gene Watson, had an interest in man-made flying saucers. The Air Force experimented with man-made flying saucers, the Avro. A flying saucer in aerospace is called a lenticular-shaped craft. Other UFOs people report, like triangle or boomerang, could be a deltoid-shaped craft. Man-made flying saucers are not that unusual. There have been attempts to make lenticular-shaped craft or circular wing airplanes throughout the 20th century. Even some of NASA's probes take on the look of a flying saucer. In the late 1960s, Stephen Watson's father, Gene Watson, successfully completed a man-made flying saucer, a small manned flying saucer, with the help of Dr. Bronco at Arkansas Polytech University, using the college's lathe and weighing computer system for calculations. The man-made flying saucer did lift off the ground, and the FAA issued orders for the saucer not to rise above a certain height. Gene Watson would later attempt to build what he called a ground effect vehicle similar to a hovercraft. You could read Gene Watson's theories on propulsion in the book Gene Watson, Flying Saucers.